Good morning, students. In the previous class, we have discussed about the endemic species and the factors causing their extinction. Today, we'll discuss about another topic, which is migration. As do the word migration, it means the periodic movement of a species of animals. Maybe they may be birds or some other animals. For example, certain mammals, they do also so, from the place where it has been living to a new area and its subsequent return journey back to their original home. So may, due to certain conditions, due to certain reasons, the certain group of animals, they do so the periodic movement from the present living area to a new area and their again subsequent journey back to their original home. The reasons we may enlist for the migration, for example, in search of abundant food, may that in particular specific season, if there is scarcity of food, then the animals, they do so the periodic migration and they do migrate to their favorable places where they may get abundant food for their survival. The second reason, may that in search of shelter, may that due to certain environmental factors, may that due to adverse climatic conditions in the specific seasons of the year, it is very much impossible to survive at those places where they are living in their original place. They show migration. They do migrate from their living places to a new area in search of that shelter, so that in such cases, so that they may get the favorable environmental conditions, may that the weather conditions may be favorable for their survival and they may be survive, and then again they do return back to their home whenever the conditions or the environmental conditions they normalizes it, return back to their home. Likewise, one more reason is also there, in search of breeding place. So in search of the favorable breeding place, so that they may be able to increase their population. For the search of a favorable breeding place, they do so the process of migration. So the precise methods by which animals navigate and know where to go are still obscure. They are still the matter of research. Birds have much sharper eyesight and better visual memory of ground clues than humans. However, in long distance flights, they appear to navigate with the help of sun and stars, possibly in combination with a reading of the Earth's magnetic field. So, this is achieved through an inbuilt magnetic compass, which is a tiny mass of tissue between the eye and the brain in birds. So, we may list the reasons how do they are able to migrate. In the case of birds, they are having much sharper eyesight and better visual memory, as well as whenever they go through long distance flights, they navigate with the help of the sun and stars, as well as with the possible reading of the Earth's magnetic field. So that is also achieved, which is a tiny mass of tissue between the eye and the brain within the birds, which help them during the periodic movement or the process of migration. There is a fact regarding a bird species which is shooty shearwater. It migrates in search of food nearly 64,000 kilometers, which is around about 40,000 miles a year, flying from New Zealand to the North Pacific Ocean, and again they return back every summer. Now the next aspect, which is very much important, is reforestation or afforestation. as reforestation, which is also referred to as afforestation, we know is the process of restoring and recreating areas of forest that once existed but have been deforested or otherwise removed or destroyed. So means we have to practice the afforestation procedure through which we can increase the number of plants and trees which were already present there. So this practice is rapidly gaining momentum in order to promote conservation practices. It is, however, important to keep in mind that while selecting the plants for reforestation, one should be careful that these are the same species of plants that were there at that area earlier. So while doing the process of afforestation, we have to keep in our mind that the same varieties, the same species of plants should be planted there, so that whenever they will grow, the specific group of living forms which were surviving at that time, they would be able to grow upon those species of plants as before as they were growing, and they will be able to increase their number. So it is better that we should try to be careful that we have to plant the same species of plants which were there at that area earlier. So this promotes the rapid re-establishment of both flora and fauna in that deforested area. So that we may understand by doing the practice, by planting the same variety of plant, it will help in the re-establishment of both flora, means all the life forms pertaining to the plant kingdom, and fauna, means all the life forms pertaining to the animal kingdom in that deforested area. So this helps to make it a forest again. So do you know the Forest Conservation Act, which was passed in the 1980, is one of the most effective legislations contributing to reduction in deforestation. This was enacted to reduce indiscriminate diversion of forest land for non-forestry purposes and help to regulate and control the recorded forest land use changes. So the act, which is the Forest Conservation Act, which was passed in the year 1980, it is the most effective legislations which have been implemented by the government to reduce the process of deforestation, and it was enacted to reduce the indiscriminate cutting of the trees and also to stop the diversion of the forest land for non-forestry purposes. Now we'll discuss, there's also an important aspect how we can conserve our nature, that is recycling of paper. So paper recycling is the process of recovering waste paper and remaking it into new paper products. So the process in which we can recover the waste paper and then we may remake it into new paper products is known as recycling of paper. Paper suitable for recycling is called scrap paper. Today 90% of paper pulp is made from wood. Paper production accounts for about 35% of felled trees, and recycling of newsprint therefore saves a lot of wood. So it has been estimated that recycling of even half of the world's paper would avoid the deforestation of around about 20 million acres, which would be around about 80,000 kilometers square of forest land. So it has been estimated by the recycling of the paper, even half of the, we can say, world's paper would avoid the deforestation of 20 million acres of forest land. So it is our prime duty that we should try to promote the activity of recycling of paper. We all contribute in this process and we can contribute it. We can do a lot. So we should reduce wastage of paper and try to reuse paper whenever and wherever possible. So the 3 R's that we can follow to save our nature and conserve our natural resources, which are reduce, reuse and recycle. By these 3 R's, we can increase the productivity of the environment also, and also we may do better and we make our future better for the proper existence and easier survival upon the planet. So till so far here, thank you, have a nice day.